broadcast for Jake and Tyson, and you know, some people like the likes of Carl Froch viewed that as an endorsement. Like, look, man, I'm just working. It's a big opportunity to be on Netflix. I didn't put the fight together. I'm not paying these guys. So, you know, let's chill out. But all right, I'm not going to poo-poo this. I just don't know what CSI is. And the way it was presented made me think that there was like a secondary press release to come, that they'll be involved in like some sort of like virtual boxing thing. Like, it just didn't seem real. You know why it didn't seem real? I'll tell you why. There's no date attached to it. There's no venue attached to it. Forget rules, exhibition, not exhibition, weight. I mean, here's a guy who fought a heavyweight forget all that. These things can get figured out, the fine details. The fact that it was announced, why announce something with no date or location attached to it? What's the point? Unless you're just trying to get people excited and trying to get them, you know, trying to get some investors or something like that.
But maybe also testing the waters. If the response was overwhelmingly positive, maybe you go, okay, we move forward. If the response is muted or negative, maybe you go, okay, we're not going to actually do this. You know, you lob it out there as a way to poll the public, and then make an adjustment.
So you don't think it happens?
I do not think it happens. I just don't think there will be enough interest. I know they have huge name value. There's zero, after the last performance by Mike Tyson against Jake Paul, I don't think there's going to be interest in seeing Mike Tyson do that again.
Floyd Mayweather pointed out that he had already outclassed Canelo Alvarez years ago, back when Canelo was younger and rising fast. He used this to emphasize his own skill and ring intelligence. According to Mayweather, Terence Crawford defeating Canelo shouldn't automatically be viewed as an unmatched achievement, since both fighters share their biggest victory over the same opponent. In his view, this underlines why his own performance still carries more weight and why Crawford's success doesn't eclipse his legacy.
Canelo is a hell of a fighter. He's a hell of a fighter. And everyone is now saying that he's not the same fighter. He's not looking the same. Now remember this.
Sounds familiar.
No. I was older than Canelo is when I beat Canelo. So now imagine seeing Canelo at 36 and me at 36 and we fight. And now what y'all gonna say? Well, now he got what? I don't know how many fights he got.
Some commentators believe it's too early to place Terence Crawford on the same pedestal as Floyd Mayweather, pointing to Mayweather's unmatched 50-0 record. In their view, Crawford's resume, while impressive, still needs an extra layer of greatness beyond wins over names like Canelo Alvarez. A frequent argument is that Crawford should test himself further by stepping up in weight to face David Benavidez, a taller, stronger, and highly dangerous contender. Securing a victory over Benavidez would not only highlight Crawford's courage, but also prove his ability to overcome one of the most daunting challenges in today's boxing landscape. Until he takes on and defeats opponents of that caliber, some experts argue that Crawford's legacy will remain just a step behind Mayweather's, regardless of his current accolades.
You look at Floyd's record, right? Floyd's legacy is 50-0, 24 world champions, 5 divisions conquered, best defender of all time, right? Bud Crawford surpasses him in accolades because of the undisputed in 3 divisions. Both of them are fighters that fought great into their late 30s. However, Floyd has a deeper resume than Bud Crawford, but both of their best wins are Canelo Alvarez. Canelo was a younger, greener Canelo when Floyd beat him. Bud beat an older, slower, but more seasoned Canelo. Now, Bud's not going to surpass Floyd because of the record. He's not going to make 50-0. Bud has to separate himself. What he has to do is do something that Floyd didn't do. Take on the challenges that people were scared for you to take. Just that's what separates Leonard and Duran from the rest. If Bud Crawford beats David Benavidez, he will surpass Floyd Mayweather as far as on the all-time list. As of right now, if Bud Crawford retires, I would have him somewhere around the top 5, top 7.
Trainer Robert Garcia offers a contrasting viewpoint. In his eyes, Terence Crawford is too smart to jeopardize his career by moving up against David Benavidez. Garcia argues that Crawford has built his reputation on calculated decisions and doesn't need to chase unnecessary risks to secure his place in boxing history. Benavidez brings a major size advantage and presents the kind of danger that could threaten Crawford's undefeated run. From Garcia's perspective, the gamble simply isn't worth it. Crawford already owns a stellar record and has nothing left to prove by challenging someone well outside his natural weight class. This perspective underscores the ongoing debate between chasing high-risk legacy fights versus protecting a nearly flawless career.
There's no way. Crawford just got the biggest win in his career and one of the biggest wins in history. He doesn't need to go out there and risk. But this is too big, too strong. We don't want to see a champion do so much and accomplish so much and then end his career with a bad choice, a bad fight that he shouldn't take. I wouldn't do it.
Jeff Mayweather, Floyd's uncle, offered a measured take on the outcome. He acknowledged that Terence Crawford outclassed Canelo Alvarez, but cautioned against treating the win as the ultimate benchmark. Jeff noted that Canelo wasn't the same fighter he once was, lacking some of the sharpness and punching power that defined his prime. He also reminded fans that before this matchup, Crawford faced criticism over the quality of his opponents, and even now, some observers continue to minimize his accomplishments. In Jeff's view, the victory was impressive. Yet it must be placed in context, since Canelo was past his peak. The result alone doesn't silence every question about Crawford's place in history.
Canelo knocks him out in the first half of the fight because he couldn't handle the power. And obviously that proved not to be, or to be the case, that Crawford could definitely handle the power. Were you surprised that, it didn't look like, maybe once or twice it looked like maybe Crawford felt it, but never in any kind of real trouble?
Yeah, I don't think that Canelo really hit him. I mean, he hit him a couple times clean, but I mean, Crawford, Crawford's a big guy too. Crawford took it like it was nothing. I mean, and he hit Canelo a few times. I mean, and Canelo took it as well. So I mean, basically, at the end of the day, I mean, they both took decent shots from each other, but Crawford just didn't get hit as much as Canelo did.
Do you think that was, a case of, you can't, Canelo's a guy that's not out there throwing huge combinations. Like he's, more of a, punch at a time kind of guy, and that's not going to work against someone as slick and talented as Bud Crawford.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, basically, Canelo was looking for just one big shot, trying to land a big shot on Crawford, but Crawford wasn't having it. And Crawford at times would say, I guess he would say to himself, I need to, do a little more work. And basically, and it seemed like he just did that, and he would let his hands go.
Boxing icon Roy Jones Jr. shared a sharp critique of Floyd Mayweather's legacy. In his view, apart from the Canelo-Alvarez bout, Mayweather didn't always test himself against the absolute best of his generation while they were in their prime. Jones questioned how Mayweather is frequently ranked as the greatest when so many of his opponents were either naturally smaller, aging, or past their peak years. He argued that the legend status surrounding Floyd is somewhat exaggerated compared to the reality of his resume. While Jones acknowledged that an undefeated record is historic, he believes the timing and quality of Mayweather's matchups leave room for debate, especially when drawing comparisons to more adaptable fighters like Terence Crawford.
Is Floyd Mayweather top 5?
No, not in my book. No,
not even top 10.
Maybe top 10 in my book, yeah, but not top 5. He's maybe top 10, but not top 5. Floyd can fight, don't get it wrong. Floyd can fight. But here's what my problem is. Well, I understand, I know you're a Floyd fan, but here's my problem. Who did Floyd fight that was on his level when he fought? Only Canelo. That's it. Don't give me that stuff about the other guy that was going to prison. He know he going to prison when he get through. And then to take it even further,
he fought Cotto.
Cotto was not on his level. Wait. See, stop. Let me finish first. Cotto.
You asked me a question.
Cotto already was done. And Cotto an all-time great? No. Cotto's an all-time Puerto Rican great. Cotto's not an all-time great in boxing.
I agree with you.
He's an all-time Puerto Rican great.
I agree.
All right, so that's not a great fight. That's not on your level. Pacquiao. You waited till Pacquiao got knocked out by Marquez before you fought him. If you'd have fought him 4 years ago, it'd have been something. Because both of y'all were here. We'd have found out who the best was. You waited till Marquez knocked him out, now you fought him. If I wait till somebody beat James Toney before I fight him, do I get credit for being the greatest fighter of all time because I beat James Toney?
No, you don't.
No, I don't. So my point is, you didn't do it the right way. You know that. Who else did you fight besides them? Best two names you can pull up besides Canelo.
What I'm saying is that who do you think around that time would have even beaten Floyd that he didn't fight?
So my point is, I'm not going to say who
because I can't name a person.
I'm not going to say who would have beat Floyd. Like I said, I'm just saying Floyd never fought nobody that was of his equal. He didn't fight a James Toney. He didn't go looking for a James Toney.
One analyst drew a clear line between fame and pure boxing ability. He acknowledged that Floyd Mayweather's worldwide recognition is unmatched, built on his perfect record and dominance in pay-per-view numbers. But when it comes strictly to skill, he argued that Terence Crawford might have the edge. Crawford's natural southpaw style, combined with his rare ability to switch stances fluidly, gives him a level of adaptability that few fighters can match. This versatility has led some observers to claim Crawford's technical toolbox may even surpass Mayweather's. At the heart of the debate is a larger question. Should boxing greatness be judged by global popularity and financial success, or by raw in-ring skill and adaptability?
Terence Crawford versus Floyd Mayweather Jr. Who wins this fight? I'm going with Terence Crawford, and I don't think that's unpopular or crazy to say. I think most people will agree with me. I understand Floyd Mayweather has a lot of fans out there, but the truth is, as great as Floyd Mayweather is, Terence Crawford is one of one. And I say that because who else has knockout power in both hands, is able to switch stances between orthodox and southpaw so seamlessly while having great footwork? It's not like Terence Crawford is some stationary target or a flat-footed fighter that's going to be chasing Floyd around. Terence Crawford knows how to cut the ring off. He has tremendous ring IQ. And not only is he a great boxer, but he's a great fighter. He'll be able to make it dirty. If he is on the inside with Floyd, that power will carry him far. And I just don't see how Floyd will be able to beat a Terence Crawford. I really don't see it. I understand Floyd's defense is incredible, but he is smaller than Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford would have a significant reach advantage on Floyd Mayweather. I believe Terence Crawford would also be taller than Floyd Mayweather, as well as all the skillful and technical aspects of what I just laid out prior. So I don't understand how anybody could pick Floyd Mayweather to beat Terence Crawford. Styles make fights, and I believe Terence has the style to beat one Floyd Mayweather. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Whether you agree or disagree, it doesn't matter. Join the discussion, subscribe for more, and leave a like if you enjoyed the time spent. Thank you. You are all appreciated.
Former champion Shane Mosley shared a direct comparison between Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather. He pointed out that Crawford's natural size gives him an advantage Mayweather never possessed. Being the bigger man, Crawford can move through multiple weight classes while still carrying his strength and punching power. Mosley explained that while Mayweather excelled with defense and precision, Crawford's physical tools allow him to dominate in ways Floyd couldn't. In his view, that makes head-to-head comparisons tricky, since Crawford's build gives him opportunities that simply weren't available to Mayweather.
Who do you think's better out of those two, Crawford or Mayweather?
I think Crawford is better, bigger. Like he's actually, he moved in weight class, and I would say Crawford is a better fight all around fighter. Mayweather's really good too, though. You can't knock him as well. He's very talented. It would have been a tough fight, but I think Crawford would have the edge over Mayweather because of the long arms and because it's bigger. You know what I'm saying? And he would have kept him at bay. It would have been hard for Mayweather to counter, maybe. But Mayweather's definitely a technician. I mean, it's, like Crawford said, Mayweather has his era, and Crawford, this is his era.
Jeff Mayweather also reminded fans that when Floyd faced Canelo Alvarez, he was already beyond his peak years. Even though he was older, slower, and not as sharp as before, Floyd relied on his experience, defense, and ring intelligence to completely outclass Canelo. Jeff emphasized the contrast between the two victories. Crawford beat a more seasoned version of Canelo, while Floyd dominated him at a time when Floyd himself was no longer in his prime. From Jeff's perspective, that distinction makes Floyd's achievement stand out even more, reinforcing the idea that his greatness remains unmatched, regardless of how many more wins Crawford collects.
Well, also, if we remember, Canelo, that time was a razor-thin decision. Floyd won, majority decision. C.J. Ross had it with what a lot of people had as a draw. And then the other two judges scored it for Floyd, of course.
Yeah, nobody had
it. And that was a Floyd at the top of his game with a very green Canelo with very little experience, and he took him, into deep waters. So
yeah, what was Canelo? What, 20 something? 20 what? 23, 25.
Yeah, very, very young in the game, obviously.
Yeah, very young. He had more fights than Floyd, and he lost.
Yeah, but
a man that was 30-something years old, 36.
Well, Floyd was clearly at the top of his career, and Canelo had fought a lot of people, but
his career. How you at the top of your career in your prime? You in your prime when you're at 36. That's not your prime.
Did he lose? I mean,
your prime is in your 20s.
It's different for different people.
Yeah, okay. Well, so and that's why Canelo is saying what he's saying.
I mean, don't you? I mean,
make himself look like he did something great.
Terence Crawford has also weighed in on the comparisons with Floyd Mayweather. He openly respects everything Mayweather accomplished and acknowledges that Floyd's legacy is cemented in boxing history. At the same time, Crawford stresses that Mayweather belonged to a different era, and every era eventually gives way to the next. He explained that greatness isn't meant to last forever, as each generation produces its own star. By framing himself as the fighter of today, Crawford shows appreciation for Mayweather's achievements while confidently positioning himself as the face of modern boxing.
You gotta have 4 arms.
I know.
And 6 eyes to beat Floyd.
Is Floyd better than you? Keyshawn beat Tank?
Keyshawn beat everybody. Him and Shakur.
How you feel about them not fighting each other? That's cool?
Yeah, that's cool. They don't need to fight each other.
Was there anybody ever...
They can beat up everybody else.
Was there anybody ever like that in boxing with you? Because not really Sean Porter, right?
No.
No friends in this business for you?
I think Tim Bradley would have been like that.
Okay.
I think me and Tim Bradley would have been like that. I wouldn't have fought Tim.
If the opportunity presented itself against Floyd, you would have, though, even though you admire him so much and he's so great. But
Floyd, yeah, because I wasn't as close. Me and Floyd close now, but when Floyd was boxing, I wasn't as close with Floyd like I am now.
How do you beat Floyd, though? Like, since nobody's been able to crack that code.
You think I would tell you?
He ain't fighting anymore. So that fight ain't gonna happen.
You gotta have 4 arms.
I know.
And 6 eyes to beat Floyd.
Is Floyd better than you? I think you got your answer there. Nah, I didn't hear nothing. Is Floyd better than you? Some fighters say, even like Gervonta Davis.
Beat your ass.
Okay, that's a no. That's a no.
Trainer Greg Hackett praised Terence Crawford following his victory over Canelo Alvarez, calling it a defining moment that firmly placed Crawford's legacy above Canelo's. At the same time, Hackett was clear that this achievement doesn't automatically put Crawford ahead of Floyd Mayweather. He explained that while beating Canelo was a career-defining statement, it doesn't erase the decades of dominance Floyd built. In Hackett's view, Crawford deserves full credit for such a commanding win. But comparisons with Mayweather must be made with caution, since Floyd's overall resume is far deeper and more established.
Because you got to remember, Canelo is the guy right now in the sport that's supposed to be the man, you know, big bad wolf. You beat him, you the wolf. Now it's like, you know what I mean? Like, all right, who else I'm gonna fight? You beat the shark, you beat the wolf. Right. Damn. Like, you know what I mean? Ain't no more ops out there. It's ops out there, but who gonna make them really want to get up? That's the
shit gotta make sense. Like you said, you beat a shark and then you beat a wolf.
Yeah.
But there's the monster.
Yeah, it is, but that's like a real monster.
Bro, that's to me it don't make sense. But that's
really
what
a monster.
Yo, is that proof? All right, we got the legendary Pape in the building. Legend. But what makes sense? Like, what makes the most sense? I know you said get a line of suits, Brooks Brothers.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Your line of suits get your money, man. Yeah, go ahead and get the easy money. You ain't gotta sweat no more.
What's up,
Not saying you ain't gotta work, you ain't gotta sweat.
What's happening?
He's paved a career where he could sit down at a table and get this money. He could come out with a Terence Crawford series now, just whatever, doing whatever he like to do. People gonna watch it. Nobody, the fighting part, people don't understand what it's like to be a fighter. A lot of times fighters really don't be interested in certain fights. It's cause when a guy see himself up here and then is fighting a guy down here, it don't interest him. So therefore, when he train, he not gonna really train. He gonna train, but he not gonna train. He not gonna listen. he gonna feel like his coach taking it too serious, and he's like, man, this ain't even that. But your coach like, listen, you can get fucked up. I'm telling you. You don't want to listen. Then you go in there and fight that guy. Then you get. I seen it happen.
Former champion Sean Porter discussed the significance of Crawford's win over Canelo on his podcast. He highlighted that Crawford didn't just rise to the challenge, he broke Canelo down in a way most never expected. For Porter, the performance demonstrated that Crawford's abilities translate across divisions and against a variety of styles. The fight, he explained, showcased Crawford's adaptability, technical mastery, and mental toughness at the very highest level of the sport.
Broadcast for Jake and Tyson, and you know, some people like the likes of Carl Froch viewed that as an endorsement. Like, look, man, I'm just working. It's a big opportunity to be on Netflix. I didn't put the fight together. I'm not paying these guys. So, you know, let's chill out. But all right, I'm not going to poo-poo this. I just don't know what CSI is. And the way it was presented made me think that there was like a secondary press release to come, that they'll be involved in like some sort of like virtual boxing thing. Like, it just didn't seem real. You know why it didn't seem real? I'll tell you why. There's no date attached to it. There's no venue attached to it. Forget rules, exhibition, not exhibition, weight. I mean, here's a guy who fought a heavyweight fighting forget all that. These things can get figured out, the fine details. The fact that it was announced, why announce something with no date or location attached to it? What's the point? Unless you're just trying to get people excited and trying to get them, you know, trying to get some investors or something like that.
But maybe also testing the waters. If the response was overwhelmingly positive, maybe you go, okay, we move forward. If the response is muted or negative, maybe you go, okay, we're not going to actually do this. You know, you lob it out there as a way to poll the public. And then make an adjustment.
You don't think it happens?
I do not think it happens. I just don't think there will be enough interest. I know they have huge name value. There's zero, after the last performance by Mike Tyson against Jake Paul, I don't think there's going to be interest in seeing Mike Tyson do that again.
One of Terence Crawford's most defining achievements, and what sets him apart from nearly every other fighter, is becoming the first boxer to claim undisputed status in 3 separate weight divisions. This rare accomplishment highlights not only his versatility, but also his ability to remain dominant through different stages of his career. Very few in boxing history have managed to rule across multiple divisions with such authority. This milestone secures Crawford's place in the sport's history books and ensures that, regardless of comparisons to Floyd Mayweather, his legacy as one of the all-time greats is already firmly established.
Terence "Bud" Crawford defeats Canelo Alvarez and becomes the first ever male 3-division undisputed champion in boxing history. Thank God the judges got this one right. But wow, what a technical battle this was. It was a very close fight, but as it went on, Terence was getting more and more comfortable in there. I remember in the 7th round, he even stood right in front of Canelo and fought him on the inside. Then in rounds 9 through 12, Crawford really started to open up on his flurries, gaining Canelo's respect. But the reason Crawford won this fight was because he was surprisingly durable at 168. He was able to do his thing because for the 36 minutes he was in there with Canelo, he was never really worried about what was coming back at him. I mean, Canelo just kept going to Terence's right side of his body, and that stung a couple times, but those were the really only hard shots Canelo landed. Unfortunately, this is terrible for Canelo's legacy because the smaller men beat him up, and Canelo's kind of been cherry-picking his opponents the last couple years. But well-deserved for Terence Crawford. It's gonna look amazing on his legacy. Boxing got it right tonight. On the biggest stage, with the most eyeballs, no controversy, just pure sport. And one of the best ever at the sport got it done tonight, Terence "Bud" Crawford.
That wraps up today's video. Thanks for watching, and be sure to stay tuned for more.